Hello everyone, welcome back to the Gamers Digester channel. Today we're going to be covering some points on the Asus ROG Ally before its release date on June 13th. I know a lot of you guys who are in the comments section who are watching this are either very interested in the handheld or have one pre-ordered, and I just want to hear some more dialogue on it before you have it's your last chance to either cancel. Some of you, it's your last chance to make the pre-order. I know in some places they've been selling out, so let's have one last discussion and talk about what I think the biggest advantages that the Asus ROG Ally has right now over all handhelds. And I have a couple here, but mostly the comparison is going to be for the Steam Deck. I'd say I'll probably cover more than three, but we'll just stick with three for now. The first one I'd like to start off with talking about price point. There's a couple things about the Ally that make it a very enticing purchase, and there's some things to kind of look out for that they don't really talk about. The battery size in the Steam Deck is, I know I'm going to butcher this, it's like 40 milliwatt hours. Feel free to roast me in the comments. It's probably something super similar to that. But essentially, right, names aside, the batteries are essentially the same thing. They're the same size. You're getting more performance in the Ally with a battery the same size. You don't have to be that much of a mathematician to figure out you're going to get less battery life out of that. Unless you're running it at very similar or lower TDP, which is just how much power you're pushing into the device or into the CPU. You're going to be seeing, unless you're doing that, you're going to be seeing very diminishing returns when it comes to battery life. There's been some videos I've seen where running it at 18 watts, which ETA Prime, that's what he is saying is the sweet spot for that device if you're on the go, is running the device at 18 watts, which I'm inclined to believe he's really onto something there. The higher that you run the wattage on this, exponentially it's going to be using more power with very diminishing returns. In certain games, the difference between running this device at 20 watts versus 35 could be the difference of 10 frames. And if you look at that on a chart, that's probably not super great. But there's other games where pumping that extra juice in, you're getting 40, 30 extra frames. So it really is a case-by-case basis that each game needs to be looked at. So if you're looking at the Asus ROG Ally for certain games, see if there's already gameplay out or wait for it to release before purchasing if those are the only games you're going to be playing. I'm going to be playing a wide variety of games, so those differences don't really matter to me until we get there, until I actually get to see the differences hands-on myself. But I know there's some games where there's barely a difference at those lower wattages in performance. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you plan on playing this device on the go, like really on the go, you're not going to have any power banks, any outlets, anything like that. The battery is a pretty big deal. So, in my previous video that I made, I talked about how the battery life issue isn't a big deal. And I totally agree with that statement still. I definitely think it's not that big of a deal for someone like me. And there are tons of people in the comments who agreed with me. I found it very strange. I thought I was going to get blasted off the face of the earth for having this opinion. I have portable batteries, power banks. I have those. I at my work, in the airplane, wherever I'm going, I almost always have access to an outlet. The battery life for me is not that big of a deal. I'm using this device as a convenience to ease my boredom. I'm not going to be in the middle of a jungle like, oh my gosh, I only got 40 more minutes of battery life. It's like certain situations like that. Should you really, I'll probably get flamed for this. Should you really be using the handheld? Like if you're really somewhere where you have no charger, no battery, nothing like that, and you don't have any means of charging the device, are you going to break it? Is it safe to have it there? Like, I'm being kind of serious here. Like, almost every single car, you have an adapter that you can have, that you can charge your device on. So, whoops. It really just depends on who you are and what you know you're going to be doing with the device. I think I'll just leave it there. But for me, everywhere I go, I'm going to have access to power, somewhat. There's almost never going to be that chance. And if I'm seriously going to be taking the device with me and I want to be able to play it, I'll just bring one of those power banks. They're $50 to $150 depending on what size you get. And really, if that's the big killer for you, the battery size, dude, order one of those. They're really not that expensive. You can find some on great sales. So if that's the thing holding you back, just make sure it can go up to 65 watt charging, and which matches the power cable that comes with the Ally. Get a good charging cable for that, and dude, you're set. Other than that, as far as battery goes, I think that's one of the only things, the only complaints hardware side that you can make about the device. Everything else is killer. I know they didn't really they had some spare room on the backside. I've seen some teardowns where they maybe could have squeezed a little bit more, a bigger battery size in there, but at this point, I don't know how much of a loss they're taking, if they are, or what kind of magic they're doing there. If that's really what it takes to get this at that price point, so be it. I'll spend an extra $50 to get a power bank. And really, all these other handhelds that are out there that cost $500-600 more, that have a 65 milliwatt or watt size battery, again, destroy me in the comments. I'm not entirely sure what the phrasing is for that. But if you know what I'm talking about, you know. Is that really worth the extra money? In my opinion, no, it isn't. I think the next thing that's up on the list to talk about is anti-cheat. I've made 2 videos on this. I think this is ginormous. This is a massive issue. They're labeling this on their website the all-in-one gaming PC on the go. That's what they're labeling it as on Steam when you're looking at it. Now, a gaming PC, the whole reason, right? Like, you've got like something like this. Why would you get this versus an Xbox? Freedom. You want the freedom to do what you want, play any game that you want, where you want, if it really is portable, where you want, right? This can't do that. There are so many games that you cannot play almost any Call of Duty, unless you want to get your IP leaked and play it because you're playing Black Ops 3 or 2. Any newer Call of Duty, you can't play. The anti-cheat is not supported. Almost any Battlefield, you cannot play. Destiny, I know that not a lot of it is, I guess, one of the most popular games on Steam right now, but for me, it's something that I play almost every day. I can't play that on this, which is killer. That's killer in a bad way. It's not good. There are many other games, mostly competitive shooter type games, Rainbow Six Siege, games like Valorant, which you can't even download on this thing natively. You have to get an SD card, which I have put back in here so I don't accidentally kill it. The Steam Deck kills SD cards, and it's not necessarily the Steam Deck. It's if you are running Windows on an SD card out of the bottom here, the constant reading and writing of an SD card will kill it. It's just a matter of time. There are some guys who've gotten a year of life. I've had some unfortunate people comment that they've had about 2 weeks before it killed their SD card. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to put a terabyte SD card in there just for it to die in 2 weeks. That doesn't seem like that makes a whole lot of sense to me when you can just buy a handheld that has Windows running natively on the device. So that is something that's very big that I just wanted to touch on. I know you guys are probably sick of hearing it if you've seen those other videos, but I'm just nailing that home, that is an important thing and that it shouldn't be completely overlooked. The last easy one, I'll probably throw something else in there at the end, obviously, is the performance. The Ally is pushing handhelds into the future. It really is. With the specs you're getting, the price, I guess I'll talk about the price after I talk about the performance. The price point is, the performance is really unbelievable. You're getting almost console-like performance out of most games, if not better, if you're running it at like 720p, which is close to what this is running at. There's a lot of games it looks beautiful. It really does. From the gameplay I've seen, the frame rates are great in a form factor a little bit bigger than the Switch. I always like to have this thing out for comparison's sake. I know the case on here is pretty big. I like having something more to hold on to, but it is quite small. So the width, height, this is a 7-inch screen. That's a 7-inch screen. By the way, I hate the display on the Steam Deck. I have no idea if anyone else feels the same way. The colors are garbage. The viewing angles. The second you start turning this a little bit, and when I'm trying to record gameplay on this thing, it is like, it's like a flashlight is being pointed at the camera. It just cannot pick up any colors, and it's not even the camera. The games just don't even look that vibrant to me. I know there's a beta version of an update that they have out where you can change the digital vibrance, but it kind of makes things look a little bit too kind of washed out is for when it's too bland. I don't know what the term is. Just too vibrant, which doesn't sound like something that you could say, but it really does. It just kind of looks a little bad. So I love OLED displays. Love. That's why I still play this. Why I still play a lot of games on the Switch. This is one of the most beautiful displays I've ever played anything on. It really looks great. So when we're talking about performance, I find it kind of hard not to point out that the Ally has a 1080p 120 hertz refresh rate. But if you're going to be running it at that refresh rate with the max wattage that you can, the battery life is just going to plummet. So just another thing to keep in mind when you're comparing these. I guess we'll talk about the price really quickly. I made a video, I believe it was yesterday, talking about the price point and what this means for handhelds. This is crazy, you guys. They are crushing. This is the $700 one, the Steam Deck. This is the 512 gigabyte. If they are able to produce something that similar in price and offer so much more benefits over what the Steam Deck is currently offering, that means that the future is just going to be getting better. If Asus plans on making another handheld, or the Steam Deck does, if they want to sell a Steam Deck 2, it's got to beat out the Ally. Realistically, right? Like, it has to beat or match that in performance if people are going to make that purchase. So when the time comes for them to make a second iteration of the Steam Deck, things are just going to be looking up in terms of performance. So I think that is very exciting to look forward to. And I think everyone should even if you're not even going to be buying the Ally, at least take into notice that is a pretty big deal that they are able to hit that price point. So like I said earlier, there's a lot of handhelds out right now that are upwards of $1,000 that just don't make sense, that are super niche, that only certain people can afford or get their hands on. So very exciting stuff, you guys. Stick around. I think I'm going to end the video here just because I've been making them a bit longer. I know a lot of people haven't been, some people have been liking the longer videos, but I think I'll try and keep it around 12 to 15 minutes in length, and we're just about there. If you agree with what I've been saying, let me know in the comments. If you think I'm crazy, let me know. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. We just hit 50 subscribers today. We just started making videos this week, and already we're at 50. I'm at almost 55, actually. When I started, I was at around 5. So this has been very exciting. I'm thankful to all of you guys who have been commenting, who've been liking, sticking around, hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. If you do like this video, leave a like. There'll be more like it. Thank you.